thing that I'm looking for, in addition to their donating, is three things. First, are they acknowledging the trauma? We're all hurting and we're angry, but I think it's important for us to recognize that, here's a community that's experienced 400 plus years of physical and emotional trauma. And that story needs to continue to be told so it can be fixed. Secondly, are they really modeling the way, right? Is kind of their statement in line with the values that they purport to their employees and to their consumers? And then kind of third, and this is what I tell all of my team all the time, is are they acting? It's not enough to just do the donation, right? What's your follow-up look like? Because this pandemic of sorts has persisted and likely will continue to persist. And it's important that we really step out and lead up front with our own action.
What are your observations when we think specifically about the investment community, both private equity, venture capital, and bigger public investment vehicles? What, from your own experience founding your own company and growing it, were the biggest challenges you faced that you'd like to see rectified for companies going forward?
Yeah, I think that there should be a recognition of the power that folks of color have in the world, the cultural influence, the purchasing and buying power. And these investors, these boards are duty bound, right, to really recognize that impact. And because, if we can kind of economically help liberate this community, that helps this path forward in a really significant way. I was one of the fortunate ones, right? But my story can scale, and it should, and we're all duty bound to make that story scale.
Tristan, you come from Silicon Valley, I believe, raised funding from the likes of Andreessen Horowitz. I mean, how big is that opportunity gap, and how hard is that for a black business owner to raise money right now from venture capital out west?
It's been tough, and it continues to be. I think providing access to economic empowerment for this audience is the greatest economic opportunity of my lifetime. When I think about black consumers, we're the most culturally influential demographic group on the planet. Right. Our purchasing power, up to $1 trillion in purchasing power. You have an audience of folks who are not only hungry, to start really wonderful and great companies, but a consumer set that is willing to support companies that really respond well with their values to this audience. And that's why I think when we think about Walker & Company, we've been able to be so successful because that authenticity really bleeds through everything that we do. And it's just good business. Right. This is not donation. It's not charitable. It's good business.
Well, as you mentioned, Tristan, your company, Walker & Company, targeted in particular to people of color. Are there other sort of sectors out there where there is an opportunity to do that, both to provide better services, but also, as you're saying, to seize upon the purchasing power that exists?
Yeah, well, look, let's think about it in this way. Folks of color are the majority of the world. Folks of color will be the majority of this country in 20 years. When I say it's the kind of single greatest economic opportunity of my lifetime, whether that be for-profit or not-for-profit, the numbers speak for themselves. Diversity yields kind of better profits within your ranks. And with all the other things that I said as it relates to kind of consumer purchasing power, cultural influence, every single industry is going to be impacted by this. And, when I think about the partners that we have in Procter & Gamble, a company that serves 5 billion people around the world every single day, the majority of whom kind of look like me. I think these guys are really stepping out in front, doing the right things because they see a future that deserves to exist. If every industry is not looking at this, they are going to not succeed. And I mean that with as much conviction in my being as I can muster.
What do you mean specifically? What sort of actions do you want to see being taken at these organizations? We've heard of so many ideas this week. I'm curious where you think that change actually begins.
I think this is simple. The diversity of your employee base needs to reflect the diversity of your consumer base. At Walker & Company, we're majority folks of color, majority women of color in positions of leadership at my company, reflecting the diversity base of our consumers that we serve. That is something that all of us can do. You can do that at the kind of corporate level. You can do that at the board level. Representation in advertising, right? Critical. We want to make sure that our voices are respected. And then lastly, I think, you got to fund us, right? Procter & Gamble was able to find a company like ours because we were funded and got the chance. Again, my story can scale, and it should. And you'll have the forward-looking companies like Procter & Gamble that really do understand that. But those are three very simple things that companies can do, and they all know it, right? They all know it. But the ones who are willing to act are the ones who are going to benefit from this over the long term.
We'll see if anything comes from this moment on that front. Tristan, thank you.
Thank you
Good
both.
to talk to you. Tristan Walker.